Well, everything is about multiples, and it's about building one piece at a time. So this is made almost like a sandcastle, drip by drip with wet clay. And this one is inspired by a gate that the artist saw in Paris. And she's very interested in all these shapes of wrought iron and the idea of gates kind of close off spaces, but there's also sometimes special places between. So she's thinking about that kind of dividing time and space with this incredibly ephemeral work of art, which gets thrown away at the end of the exhibition. This is Zimra Biner, and he's the one who collects these things that are, as he calls them, tools for no purpose. And he's teaching at Princeton at the moment. And he's been working with these shapes for a long time, and he's interested in building up this language of shapes that are their own identity. Yeah, and this is multiples of, he sometimes refers it to tools for no purpose. So you look at these and they all look somewhat familiar, and it's like a tool bench. So it's really kind of bringing up the idea of the value of making things. Yeah, and you keep thinking, oh, is that a faucet handle? But nothing is exactly anything of reality. They're all imagined. This is actually based on a cannibal's fork. Zimra's father was an anthropologist and traveled around the world, and Zimra said his father came back with the cannibal's fork, and it was a little bit like that. It stayed in his imagination for many years. This orange piece is a real showstopper. This is Bean Finneran. She lives out in California, north of San Francisco, and she started off as a jeweler. It's all clay, individual clay pieces. And here's what she did. You take these and you sprinkle handfuls of them in the circle. And so they're all here, and they fall different ways. And so what you're doing is you're building like a nest. Yeah. It's Walter McConnell, and this is a very small installation of the kind of work that he does. He collects hundreds of molds and pours slip cast porcelain into these random hobby shop molds, and he puts them together and he does these complicated glazes. This is kind of a lot of clash of cultures of every kind, not just the clash of E.T. with the bishop here. It's the clash of cultures and the clash of technique. What it can do. Clay is so interesting because it's so plastic, and yet you can make it look like steel, So the one thing that's challenging with clay is that you can build small bricks and build on top of each other, but it doesn't have any sort of tensile strength. And so a lot of these artists have to deal with how to make something big in a different way than stacking. So you have to kind of be very imaginative to work at this scale with clay.